Hello everyone, and thank you for tuning into TradeChat. My name is Panzer, and a long time ago I promised I was going to do a World of Warcraft AMA, and I never did it because I'm me. So today I'm going to be doing a World of Warcraft AMA. Yay! Before I get into that, I do want to thank today's sponsor, New York Institute of Technology. New York Institute of Technology has so much to offer with over 90 tech-infused, career-focused degree programs and campuses in the U.S. and abroad, with locations in New York City, Long Island, Vancouver, China, or even Abu Dhabi. At NYIT, you can study to become an animator, designer, or digital artist in the same place where the founders of Pixar got their start. As a student, you'll have access to NYIT's Hive, which is a one-of-a-kind research studio environment where you can creatively explore, innovate, and solve problems using motion capture, gaming, 3D printing, and state-of-the-art graphics and hardware software. The best part is that 95% of first-time, full-time students receive some sort of financial aid, and NYIT alumni are in the top 25% of earners among college grads in the U.S. For more information about New York Institute of Technology and a code to waive your application fee, check out the links in the info below. Okay, since we got that out of the way, let's get into the questions. Now, heads up, all of these questions are World of Warcraft related, so if you hate World of Warcraft, I kind of don't know why you're subscribed to me, but all these questions are going to be about World of Warcraft, so I warned you ahead of time. Also, if I glance away, it's because I don't want to paraphrase these questions. I want to read them as they were written and be true to the poetic words that you tweeted at me. So yeah, our first question is from Ryan, and he is Vendetta1337 on Twitter, and he asked, why don't you work directly for Blizzard, or do you think that would take away some of the magic? So this is a question that I get a lot, like why I don't work for Blizzard, or if I want to work for Blizzard, and the truth is if you had asked me this years ago, I would have told you like, that's my dream, I want to work for Blizzard, that's the dream job, but that's not really how I feel anymore. Like even 3 or 4 or 5 years ago, it was quite a while ago, I applied to work on the Blizzard All-Stars, which is obviously now Heroes of the Storm. I applied to work for that community team, and I got a canned response that I didn't get the job. And you know, if I'd like really wanted that job and was willing to move across the country, there are probably people that I could have asked to, you know, review my application or back me up in some way, but I love where I live. I love living in upstate New York. I like having seasons, and I'm not really willing to give that up. Not to mention, if I worked at Blizzard, it's very unlikely that I would have a YouTube channel because they can't have their employees like just going off and saying whatever they want about their games without, you know, it going through them, which is completely understandable, but it would also kind of ruin the integrity of my channel if Blizzard had final say over the content that I posted, because I do post things that are critical of WoW. I mean, I'm not, as much as I am a fangirl and as many positive things as I have to say about World of Warcraft and Blizzard in general, I don't ever want to be silenced from saying something negative because of my employer, and that would certainly bring up a sticky situation. Not to mention, as a full-time YouTuber, I'm able to put out lots of videos and I'm able to put a lot of time into my videos, and if I worked full-time for a company, that would certainly stifle my creations here. You know, I can't do everything all at once, but I guess the truth is I love doing this. I love making videos. I love coming up with my own content. I love interacting with you guys on social media, and I love working for myself. I love not having a boss and not having busy work, and I want to live the life that I live right now as long as I possibly can. So I feel like this is a great time to say thank you to all of you guys for making this possible, because, you know, between those of you who don't use AdBlock or those of you who are sponsoring me here on YouTube, which if you're interested in doing, I'll have a link in the info below, shameless self-promotion, or for my other sponsors, like NYIT today. I mean, if it wasn't for you guys watching my videos and, you know, being active on social media and leaving me comments and et cetera, I just wouldn't be able to do this, and I love doing this. So I guess the TLDR of that question is, cause I don't wanna. Our next question is from David, who is Lord Demios4 on Twitter, and he said, any advice for someone who hasn't played WoW since Cataclysm but wants to get back into the game? Oh my gosh, I have so many advices for you. First of all, Legion is a great time to come back, and now is a great time to come back. Obviously, 7.32, 7.35 are right around the corner, and the closer you get to the end of an expansion, the more catch-up mechanics you have. So if you come back right now, you're going to have a fun leveling experience. Leveling in Legion was amazing. It's non-linear, so you can choose your own content as you go and kind of follow the stories that you're interested in, and all of them will lead to the same place. Legion has a very cohesive storyline, so patch 7.1 7.1, patch 7.2, patch 7.3, they all continued the story that you did leveling up, so you're going to kind of get to complete all of that. I would definitely recommend doing the Suramar quests, especially since once you hit 110 now, you're automatically the highest artifact knowledge level available, so if you go back and do those Suramar quests and stuff like that, like, you're going to get so much artifact power, it's going to be like raining stacks and stacks, like stacks on stacks of artifact power. I mean, there's the fun class quest line that leads to you getting a class mount. Flying is account-wide, so once you've earned flying on one character, which basically is just like playing the game, it's not super hard to earn flying. You'll have it on all characters, and you can level alts and stuff. I just think that, wow, this expansion has offered a ton of content for all different walks of players. You know, there's PvE stuff. Okay, so there's not a ton of new and exciting PvP stuff in Legion, but they're working on it, right? With the brawls and stuff, like that's kind of cool. Plus, all of the like set gear, the PvP set gear, the following season you can buy really cheap for badges for transmog and stuff, but there's pet battle stuff. There's so much incentive to go back and do transmog stuff. I just think the World of Warcraft in general is in a great place right now, especially for new or returning players. So try it out, check it out. I think you'll really like it. Richard C., who is Rick of the Sea on Twitter, asked, what other WoW YouTubers do you watch? I kind of have a weird answer for this question, and that is I don't really watch any other WoW YouTubers. And the reason for that is because, let me give you a little context. I went to 16 different schools growing up, so I sort of learned how to be a social chameleon in an effort to not constantly be the weird outcast new girl. I'm not saying that it always worked, but I have a habit of sort of picking up other people's mannerisms that I'm around. Like if people say a word a lot, I'll kind of start saying that word. So the last thing I want to do is watch other WoW YouTubers and, you know, accidentally like copy something that they did or take too much inspiration from them. As far as who I would recommend that you watch though, Taliesin and Evitel, I've watched several of their videos. They are really, really well done. They're an amazing YouTube duo. I would definitely recommend them. Obviously, Bellular puts out a ton of content that's very, very knowledgeable and thought out and informational. Nobble does amazing lore videos, and then you've got your machinimators and your entertainers. There's a lot of people to watch here on YouTube. But like I said, as weird and as traitorous as it sounds, I don't actually really watch a lot of people on YouTube. I watch Philip DeFranco kind of religiously to get newsy type information, and I watch some like art channels to learn stuff about art. I shamefully am subscribed to BuzzFeed because I like some of their videos, but I also like a lot of what the Fine Brothers do. I really enjoy reaction videos personally, so I watch pretty much all of their reaction series because I think they're interesting. But as far as actual World of Warcraft content, I intentionally try to avoid that because I don't want to steal other people's ideas. I don't want to be that guy. John, who is Namek the Geek on Twitter, asked, what was your first mount in WoW? Was it a ground or flying mount? Either speed. My very first mount in WoW was a Kodo. I don't remember which one, but my first character to get a mount was my Tauren Druid. So that was my very first mount, but I remember being excited about travel form more than I remember being excited about a mount. And I think that's because at that level of my life, mounts you didn't get a mount until 40, first of all, and then you got a flying mount at 60, but it cost a lot of money and a lot of reputation, so it was not 60, 70, excuse me. I started playing at the beginning of BC, so when I was max level, flying was available, and I did get it shortly after I hit 70, but I remember it being really expensive and kind of hard to get the rep, and you would turn in all the Mage Weave cloth. It was like a big thing, and obviously my first flying mount was just one of the wyvern, like the colorful wyverns. A memorable mount for me was the Cenarian Hippogriff, I think it's called. That was the first like rep mount that I ever earned, and I used that pretty religiously for a long time until later on somebody gifted me, like there was one of my WoW viewers, one of my viewers from YouTube. It was right when they started to allow you to, it was right when mounts became account wide, because they gave me the the rare version of the Spectral Tiger, not the epic version, and I had to make a Death Knight on their server so that we could like sync up and they could give me the mount, and then I used it and could use it on all my characters. That was like a really exciting thing for me. And then I've farmed out a lot of mounts. I remember spending a lot of time farming out all of the Nether Drakes. I think it took me a couple weeks or maybe even a month. I don't remember. It all just blends together, you know. And I also was farming for Ashes of Alar for quite a while, and I got Ashes of Alar. So very shortly afterwards, like the next day, you know what it was? I got Ashes of Alar on like a Monday, so I then did Onyxia and didn't get the mount, but then did Onyxia again the next day on reset day and totally got the mount like the second time I'd ever done Onyxia's lair. So that was a big exciting thing that happened to me. But oh, you know what? And in Legion 2, I was really excited when I finally got the Lothian Prowler. But yeah, I feel like my first mount experience wasn't that overwhelmingly exciting, and I think that's because I think at the time you got travel form at 20, so I already felt, because I was a druid, I already felt like, ooh, I'm already so fast, look at me, I'm so fast. And it's funny because now I main a shaman, and the main reason that I hated shaman for a really long time was before Cataclysm, the quests that you had to do to get your totems as a shaman were brutal. They like sent you up mountains and you didn't have your mount yet, and it was like a big to do to get your water totem, and I felt like druids had like the easiest, funnest leveling experience. I actually leveled as feral, and then at 39, I was resto, and I stayed there for a while because I twinked, so I wasn't getting experience in Battleground, but I was like all geared out, you know, because I went into all the dungeons and like farmed out the best gear. And she ended up being Boomkin at max level in Burning Crusade, and I played a Boomkin for a couple years, and then I sort of main switched a few times between like Cataclysm and Mists of Pandaria, and then finally in the end of Mists of Pandaria, I sort of devoted my playtime to my shaman, and she's been my main since then. But if you watched my BlizzCon predictions video, if a tanker or a mechaneer is the next class in WoW, probably ditching my shaman to do that, because that sounds like a whole lot of fun. Okay, so the next question is from Gaciel, who is Gaciel Acosta on Twitter, and they asked, what is a loved dungeon, item, area, quest, whatever in WoW that you have had a bad experience with or don't like or don't have anything good to say about? So my answer to this question is kind of not an answer to that question at all. My thing that I have negative feelings about that everybody else is really kind of on board with is legacy servers. And it's not really legacy servers like as a thing. It's that when Nostalrius was first taken down by Blizzard, I made a video saying, hey, this is like why Blizzard legally had to do that, and this is why people want legacy servers to be a thing, and hey, I'm neutral, what do you think? And I don't know how I turned into like the face of the enemy for the Nostalrius movement or whatever, but I did. I don't even know why, because my first draft of that video, when I sent it to my friend to like kind of look over it, he said I was leaning way too much towards legacy servers should be a thing, and that if I wanted to be neutral, I should pull back. And I don't know. The leader of their like little movement was tweeting out pictures of me and saying I had a low IQ and a poor upbringing and I was the face of the enemy, and just really, really nasty, unnecessary things. And because he had a large following, and because this whole group of people who wanted legacy servers had such a large group, I guess, and they were so active and vocal, the kind of lowest of the low common denominator in that group were very angry with my existing, and they were convening with each other to try to figure out my address so that they could dox me. They were threatening me with violence. They were threatening me, like, they were making comments about, like, I better watch my back at BlizzCon. Like, I mean, really just unnecessary mean stuff. And in, like, a matter of 48 hours, I blocked, like, 2,000 people, which is unheard of. I rarely block anybody. Like, you really have to cross a line for me to go there. But the volume of people who took the time out of their day to reach out to me and say something horrible was unbelievable. And while I fully understand that that does not represent everybody who wants legacy servers, I do. It doesn't change the, like, part of me that just never wants it to happen, because I don't want the people who were that mean to be satisfied, which is, I understand that's petty and it's screwed up, and truthfully it doesn't matter because Blizzard is not going to take my advice on that whole situation. But I think the one thing in WoW that so many people are really passionate about wanting is something that the legacy servers is something that I just really don't ever want to happen for very petty reasons, but that's my thoughts. Jonosaurus MNG on Twitter wants to know, what is your most memorable experience in WoW? This is a tough question because I've been playing WoW since 2007, so I have had a lot of very memorable experiences in game. One of the first big memorable experiences I have is actually bad because it was the first time I'd ever run Scarlet Monastery. I think it's Cathedral, but it might be the other one. I was healing on my Druid. No, I was tanking. I was tanking on my Feral Druid because Guardian wasn't a spec at the time. I was tanking on my Druid, and I had done a really good job, and there's a tabard that drops in there, and the tabard dropped, and in my, like, completely noob state to the game, I was like, I don't have a tabard. I need that, and I needed it, and everybody else greeted it, and I sort of ninja looted it, and I didn't know, so I was kind of being argumentative, like, what are you talking about? I don't have a tabard. I need this. And they're like, you do not need it. It is cosmetic. And I'm like, but I don't have a tabard. What are you not understanding? And so that was a really memorable experience for me because I accidentally ninja'd something and I did not understand why that was bad. In that same run, I actually ended up joining a guild with two of those people. Isn't that crazy that ninja-ing something and having to be like talked off of a really stupid soapbox that was completely incorrect? I ended up joining their guild and I was in their guild for years. They were, if you guys were watching Kroob Stomper and Annabelle, you guys were amazing. And I was in their guild for a while. They were the first guild I ever raided with, and we weren't very good. Let me be clear. We cleared Naxxramas, and then we skipped SSCTK and went on to Hyjal. I don't think we ever made it to Sunwell. We weren't very good. But that was a really memorable experience for me. Also in Burning Crusade, there was a guy on my server named Punkers. He was a night elf druid, a feral druid, and he was nasty. He was so good, and he used to always hang out at like the Elemental Plateau and the Throne of the Elements in Nagrand, and he would gank people, and he was crazy good at world PvP, and he was an engineer, so he would do these things where he'd like fly up out of the way and then like drop down and parachute. It was like he was awesome. He was an absolute menace to society, and I wasn't even mad about it because he was really good at what he did. Like, people on the Horde side who were really good at PvP would go like hang out to try to find Punkers to like duel him in his wild habitat, his natural environment. Also in Burning Crusade, I feel like because I was so new, I have a lot of memories about Burning Crusade. There was a guy on my server named Addy, and he ran pug groups every single week, and he was known for having like the best pug groups because his guild was really good. So it was like some of his guildies and then like other people on the server, and he would do Gruul and Mag, and I was always really excited when I like made the cut to be in his raids, and it was always a really fun experience pugging and doing world bosses with Addy's group. Oh man, there's so many. I was so excited when I got Light of Dawn in ICC. I was so excited to do like my first heroic level content in ICC. There was a lot of nostalgia-y good memories that I would never trade them for anything in the whole world. WoW has given me so much joy over the years, and I have a lot of really great memories in game. I mean, to be honest with you, it's nuts because I have a YouTube channel and a lot of my job now revolves around WoW and Blizzard. But like the reason I started playing WoW was to impress my boyfriend, who I'm now married to. We're married. It worked. He was so impressed. But he was really into gaming, and when I first met him, I wanted to like impress him and be like a cool gamer girl. So with my tax return, I bought an Xbox 360 and Halo, and I played Halo until I played so much Halo. I think my main gamer tag had like 7,000 ranked games or something stupid like that. And that was just one gamer tag because I had a lot of gamer tags. But I played a lot of Halo, and we had been together for a couple months, and he played a lot of WoW, and I just did not comprehend why his games weren't 15 minutes long and he couldn't take a break in between them like Halo. And so after kind of arguing about it for a while, he gave me this ultimatum that was like, listen, just try WoW, and if you don't like it, I will quit. I will stop playing WoW. And I was like, fine, I'll do it. And I made a Blood Elf Warlock on his account, and I got it to like level 10, and I was like, this is really fun. I don't want to play on your account anymore because then we can't play together. So I literally got my own account the next day and made my very first character of my own, which was my Tauren druid, who I still have her. She's actually not max level right now, but she was my main until Miss the Pandaria, and I loved her. So that's how it all started. That's my oldest, fondest memory of WoW, is trying to impress a boy. And it worked. Jake, who is Nuka-Cola 9K on Twitter, asked, what is your favorite non-combat pet in WoW? Oh God, I currently have 874, I think, unique pets in WoW, so I have a lot of WoW pets. The favorites in my collection, some of my favorites are obviously some of my really rare ones that a lot of people don't have. I have Murky from like the very first BlizzCon, who is like a coveted member of my collection. But a pet that I'm like really attached to is I got the Nether Fairy Dragon, whatever it was called, the one that looks like Brightwing. I got it in... Oh God, what is that area called? Feralis? Yeah, I got that in Feralis on my alt paladin before pets were account wide, and I was super proud of it because I had like a rare drop chance and I had it and I was so excited, blah, blah, blah. And then it's not even really rare anymore, like everybody has that, but that was among my favorite pets for a really, really long time. And our final question is from Maverick, who is Mav Gaming TV on Twitter, and he or she says, what game can you never get enough of other than WoW, of course? So I figured I would pick this question as the last question since it's like WoW related, but not. Obviously, if I had to pick one game forever, it would be WoW, because I've just dumped a huge amount of my life into WoW. But I am a huge fan of Overwatch. I'm super excited for Destiny 2 on PC. I've played a whole lot of the Borderlands series. I'm unashamed of my obsession with Skylanders. I've played all of the iterations of Skylanders except for Trap Team, and I really, really enjoy the newest one, Imaginators. I think the character creation is dope, and the combat's super fun, and it's just a fun and satisfying game to play. I also love the Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom for Switch. That game is so incredibly fun, and I'm really, really happy for the amount of time I've been able to put into that. Oh man, Pokemon Snap is one of my favorite games of all time. I don't care, judge me if you need to. When I was a kid, I really liked Spyro 2 Ripto's Rage. There was also a Toy Story platformer game for PlayStation 1, I believe, that was amazing. It was a super good game. I don't know. There's a lot of games that I really like. Blur was really good. I am the type of person that's what I do with my spare time, you know? I like to do art and stuff too, but I have to feel like creative and inspired to do something arty or crafty, whereas gaming is just like my go-to time sink. So there's a lot of games that I feel like I can't get enough of, even if I'm, you know, if I'm not playing WoW. But I would say the number one currently would be Overwatch, but I think Destiny 2 is probably going to rival that when it comes out, which is next week. I'm so excited. So yeah, that was my World of Warcraft AMA. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope that my answers didn't upset you at all. And also, I want to say thank you again to NYIT for sponsoring this video. Please consider checking out the link in the info below, and if you decide to apply, use the code down there so that you can get your application fee waived. I think that's all I have to say today. I hope you're all having a wonderful day. I love you all so much. You're in my hearts. I'll see you soon. Goodbye. Goodbye. Goodbye.